Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at American Resources Corporation. This was a stock analysis request from one of the followers, and I wanted to let you know that anyone can make these requests and I will most likely cover them, especially if there is an actionable trade setup to follow. And in the case of this chart, we are looking at a lot of sideways structure actually, to the point that I could even consider this is developing as a triangle where we have an A wave up, a B wave down, a C wave up, a D wave down, and then this could be an E wave to the upside that I fear may even be quite complete, and in this case we may be looking at a very large correction to the downside. Now it really depends on where I start tracking this triangle from, because basically I could also look at it from the very beginning where we have an A wave down, a B wave up, a C wave down, a D wave up, and then an E wave down, and triangles usually break in the opposite direction of the wave E. And in this case, yeah, we would be looking here at a 1, 2, and then could be a third wave to the upside that is developing. So it really isn't providing us much information, and even if I don't count it as a triangle, what else could it really be? Maybe a 1, 2 setup here, but then it is a 3-wave structure. And then here we also have a 3-wave structure, so this could be an A-B pattern, and then this is a C wave up. This doesn't look any better. So really we don't have much data to go on, anything but what we have here in the closest area is pretty useless in my opinion. And yeah, in this area I am looking at a structure that could realistically be an ABC that could even be considered complete. Now this structure that has developed within the wave C is extremely difficult to even count, because multiple counts could actually work out. I could look at this as a 1, 2, a third wave up, a fourth wave down, and then as a fifth wave here. But then in this case, within this fifth wave, I could see it complete. I could also see it wait for another ABC structure or another wave B and the C wave to push higher. And at the moment, it is not even confirmed that this internal movement is really complete. Now, technically, it could also work as a series of 1, 2 setups that is developing in this area, and we will of course track that interpretation, since that is probably the most impulsive and bullish. That would be one of the first interpretations to actually break. So I will be mainly focusing, at least for now, on this very last movement in the top area that we have formed here, where we have a possible 1, 2, 1, 2 movement, a third wave up, a fourth wave down, and then a fifth wave to the upside, where I could see another 4, 5 pattern to still work out and have a full 5-wave structure. But then I would also need it to hold here the area for such a wave 4, and in case we fall below the 50% retracement here, there is a pretty great risk that this movement may be complete and even the entire structure. So realistically, we could be looking at a very, very deep retracement if this fails to hold. But that wouldn't even really be the next level of support I would be looking out for. And instead, I would still be exploring here the possibility of an ABC structure to still form a larger 5-wave move to the upside. And in this case, we can even add a count for this idea, where I would have a wave 3 here, a fourth wave possibly here, and then a fifth wave still to develop. Now keep in mind, this is all within a diagonal structure, so in the end this would either have to be a larger wave 1 that is developing here in a leading diagonal that would be part of the larger wave 3, or it would really be a C wave that is developing in an ending diagonal instead. There really is no pretty way to count this as an impulse, except for considering here a series of 1, 2 setups that don't even make much sense, at least not based on this initial movement to the upside in this area. But who knows, maybe we should consider the bottom being here instead, and then we would have this as a 1, 2 setup, and then that would actually be pretty fine for tracking an impulse, but also honestly quite unrealistic. And if you're wondering why it is so unrealistic to track third waves to the upside, well, just look at what happened on the uranium energy chart, where we had series of possible 1-2 setups that kept pushing higher and higher, but nothing really significant. And once we failed to hold the wave 4 support that would have needed to hold to push into an impulse to the upside and continue that possibility, the entire structure fell apart and it turned into a diagonal structure, which is why when structures tend to develop such small possible 1-2 setups, it tends to not work out. So for now, I am really not too keen on considering this an impulse, and instead I would be tracking here at least, or either another 4-5 pattern, and if this fails, I will have to resort to a possible ABC movement, where honestly, unfortunately, there will be a very similar support zone in this case. And yeah, let's maybe use the yellow interpretation, but in this case, yeah, not much of a difference in terms of support. A lot of it overlaps with the green support area, but it goes from the $2.6 level, which we basically nearly reached, and goes all the way down to the $2 level. Now, if we actually break below the 78.6% retracement here, I would really have, yeah, maybe I could look for a different structure, but honestly, I would have little choice other than to look for a possible wave 1 complete and look for the wave 2 correction. And in that case, yeah, the support zone would be much deeper, and it would really start at the $1.76 level and goes all the way down to the 90-cent level. Overall, this is not necessarily a great chart to trade at the moment, but it could turn promising in the future. For now, I would sit and watch. Like, there is no need to trade every single chart and every single wave structure within it. So some of them are just worth keeping an eye on for the longer time frame until we get a more pleasant structure to actually get an opportunity. For example, when we would reach towards the lower area, the lower boundaries of this support zone, this larger support zone that, yeah, I suppose we could even use here blue and have here a 1 and then here a 2. Actually, probably white would fit better since, yeah, this wave 1 in blue looks a lot like the green count. And yeah, for now, these are the levels. This is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.